Word identification is the process of determining the pronunciation and some meaning of the word encountered in print. Word identification is also one of several factors that influences comprehension, because it is impossible to construct meaning without being able to identify the word. Stories are quite different for readers whose word identification skills are limited. Section 1. What do we know about word identification? There are 4 strategies that have been identified to accomplish word identification. They are decoding, analogizing, predicting, and recognizing whole words by sight. Decoding is the ability to pronounce the words as the reader encounters them in the text. The ability to decode requires a working knowledge of the alphabetic principle, which is a concept that there are semantic and predictable relationships between the spoken sounds of language and written letters or combination of letters in our alphabet. When I chunk this word, I am reminded of a word that I know, analogy. An analogy is a comparison between two things, typically on the basis of their structure and for the purpose of explanation or clarification. Ironically, this helped me to create pre-notions about what the analogizing strategy of word identification might be. And this helped me because analogizing involves the process of using known words and or parts of words as an aid for identifying unknown words. However, it is essential that the reader have a store of recognized words that are easily recognized to be able to use this reading skill. Predicting is done in many situations, but it is a strategy for word identification as well. It is the process of using letter cues, surrounding context, and knowledge about syntax, grammar, to guess what the word might be. Though predicting from context is important for readers when figuring out meaning, it can be unreliable because less skilled readers tend to over-rely on the context, producing errors that will then in turn alter the meaning. This is the goal for all readers, to be able to recognize words by sight. Sight words are often described as high-frequency words that occur most often in print and or are irregularly spelled. Therefore, they are not easily decoded. When teaching my students these words, or when we encounter these words in our readings, I will say something along the lines of, "Now this is one of those words we just got to know when we see it." Because our brains are not pre-wired to read words, children must be taught how to find patterns in print that will lead them to automatic word recognition. There are 5 phases of word identification, and they are the pre-alphabetic phase, partial alphabetic phase, full alphabetic phase, consolidated alphabetic phase, and automatic alphabetic phase. Section 2. How do we assess word identification skills? 3 commonly used assessments are wordless, running records with miscue analysis, and spelling analysis. When these assessments are used all together, it will provide a great deal of information about a student's strengths and weaknesses in identifying words. Wordless can provide information about a reader's store of sight words, as well as what skills they use quickly and easily to identify unfamiliar words in isolation. Lists of high-frequency words include the Dolch word list, the Frye instant sight word list, and graded word lists in reading inventory assessment books. Running records with MISCU analysis provides an abundance of information about how students identify familiar words and figure out unknown words when reading extended text. As the student reads, all miscues should be documented, such as substitutions, omissions, insertions, self-corrections, repetitions, and teacher-aided words. These miscues are then analyzed and determined whether they are predicting or decoding and analyzing. Spelling analysis provides a way to assess a student's knowledge and use of word identification skills. Unaided writing samples and spelling inventories provide this information. The developmental spelling test was created for students grades K through 2nd to provide an idea of students' stage of spelling development. Section 3. What instructional interventions help? They must be systematic, explicit, and match the individual student's developmental level. According to Lyon and Moore, by systematically drawing students' attention to letters, sounds, and words, we are providing them with opportunities to do what the human brain does best: look for patterns. There are 4 common approaches, and they are synthetic phonics, analytic phonics, analogy-based phonics, and multi-strategy instruction. A synthetic phonics approach first teaches children the individual sounds represented by letters and letter combinations, and how to blend those sounds to phonemic pronounce words. An analytic phonics approach teaches children a store of sight words and relevant generalizations, and then students are asked to apply these to decode unknown words. An analogy-based instruction approach engages students in a study of word families or word parts. They are taught to use parts of words they already know to identify new words. A multi-strategy approach to instruction is based on the concept that good readers use multiple cues to identify words. Regardless of the approach selected, children must have authentic experiences in reading and writing words in order to apply their new learned skills. And explicit instruction requires the teachers to clearly state the word identification skill to be taught and how to model and use the skill in identifying unknown words. Particular interventions to help develop word identification skills might be word banks and personal readers, sorting activities, interactive writing, closes, written closes, making words, and interactive technology programs.